Hi everyone, and welcome to the channel. Ever built a Flask web app and wish you could inject some real dynamism into your HTML? Stop writing static pages. In this tutorial, we'll dive deep into Flask templates using Jinja2, the templating engine that makes your HTML come alive. We'll build a mini project together, step by step, so you'll be creating dynamic web pages in no time. In this video, we're going to cover setting up our Flask project, understanding the basics of Jinja2 templating, passing data from our Flask app to our templates, using control structures like if statements and for loops within our templates, working with template inheritance to avoid code repetition, and finally, building a small project that puts it all together. So grab your IDE. I recommend VS Code, but any IDE would do. Create a new project folder and let's get started. Before we jump into writing our Flask app, let's take a moment to talk about best practices. When working on a Python project, it's always a good idea to create a virtual environment. This keeps our project isolated, meaning it won't interfere with other Python projects on our system. Let's create our virtual environment. Open your terminal and type in the following for Linux or Mac OS, while this for Windows PC. Now you should see this appear before your command prompt. This means you are inside your virtual environment and ready to install Flask. Next, let's install Flask, the framework that will power our web app. Run the following command in your terminal. Pip install Flask. This downloads and installs Flask so we can start building our application. If you run into any issues, check out our video on how to install Flask and run your first web app. Now that we have Flask installed, let's create our application. To begin, we need to create a Python script where our Flask app will live. Let's create a file called app.py. Inside this file, add the following code. The first thing we need to do is import Flask so we can use it in our project. We also import render_template, which allows us to load HTML files for our web pages. Next, we create an instance of the Flask class. This is what initializes our web application. This tells Flask that the file is our main application, while the underscore name is a special Python variable that helps Flask locate resources like templates and static files. Now we define a route. A route is simply a URL path that users can visit in their browser. The slash represents the home page. When someone visits the URL, Flask will execute the function directly below it. This is our view function. Think of it as the action that happens when a user visits our home page. Next, instead of running plain text, we tell Flask to load an HTML template called index.html. This means we need to create a folder named templates and place an index.html file inside it. This part ensures that our app runs only if the script is executed directly. If we import app.py into another script, Flask won't start automatically. Finally, we run our Flask app. Debug equals true allows us to see error pages in the browser and automatically restarts the app whenever we make changes. Before we run our app, we need to create the folder for the HTML files. Inside same directory as app.py, create a new folder called templates. Inside templates, create a file called index.html. This is where we will place the HTML code for our homepage. Now our Flask app is set up and ready to run. Stay tuned for the next steps. So far, our Flask app serves a static HTML file. But what if we want to make it dynamic so it can display personalized content? This is where Jinja2, Flask's built-in templating engine, comes in. First, let's add some HTML to our index.html file. Inside the template folder, create or update index.html with this content. This HTML structure is a basic HTML5 document with a head tag for metadata and a body for content. The title tag sets the browser tab title to Welcome to Flask. We add some simple style to center the content and make it visually appealing. The h1 tag displays hello everyone, while the p tag provides a welcome message. Now let's start our Flask app and see this page in action. Open your terminal and run the following code. Then open your browser and visit. You would see hello everyone displayed in the browser. Right now our page always says hello everyone, but let's make it more personalized by adding a dynamic name. Open your app.py file and modify the index function like this. Here we'll create a variable called name and assign it a value adventure. We pass it to the template using this. Now we'll update our index.html to use Jinja2 syntax. Here, this is Jinja syntax. It tells Flask to replace it with the actual value of the name. Reloading the page, you have this. Now our Flask app isn't just a static page, it's interactive. So far, we've passed simple string to our templates, but Flask allows us to pass more complex data types like integers, lists, and dictionaries. Let's see how this works in action. We'll create a new about route where we'll pass a dictionary containing user details. This defines a new route, about. Here we'll create a dictionary called user containing name, a string, age, an integer, hobbies, a list. We pass this dictionary to the about.html template. Now inside the template folder, create a new file called about.html. The file will display the user's detail using Jinja2. Here we display text dynamically using this and this. We loop through the list using this to show each hobby. This will be explained further in our subsequent lessons. Here we'll use some basic CSS to make the page look better. Now save your file and refresh the browser. You should see a beautiful formatted page like this. So far, we've displayed dynamic data using Jinja2. But what if we want to show different content based on conditions? That's where Jinja2 conditional structure like if and else comes in. We'll modify our about.html file to check the user's age and display a different message depending on whether they are an adult or a minor. Here is the updated code in our about.html file. Here, this checks if the user is 18 or older, while this displays a message on the user's age. Adult with a green background, minor with a red background. We use these CSS classes to style the messages for better readability. Save your file and refresh your browser. If the user is 30 years old, you will see this. While if you change the user's age to 16 in our app.py file and refresh the page, you will now see this. What if we forget to pass an age in app.py? Jinja will throw an exception undefined error. To resolve this, use user_gets age, 0 to provide a default value. This way, if age is missing, Jinja2 assumes it's 0 instead of crashing the page. So far, we've dynamically displayed user information and we even used an if statement to check their age. But what if we have a list of data like users' hobby, skills, or favorite books? That's where Jinja2's for loop comes in. It works just like Python's for loop and allows us to iterate through lists and dictionaries inside our template. Let's update our about.html to show a list of hobbies dynamically. Here, this loops through the hobbies list. Inside the loop, each hobby is placed inside a list tag. We style the list items with a box shadow to make them visually appealing. Let's save our about.html page, refresh our browser. If the user has hobbies like reading, coding, and hiking, the page will display this. What if a user doesn't have any hobbies? The page will show an empty list, which isn't a great experience. Let's use an if statement before the loop. Now, if hobbies is empty, it will show this instead of a blank space. So far, we've been repeating the same structure in each HTML file, declaring the HTML tag, the header tag, and the body tag every time. That's inefficient. Wouldn't it be great if we had a single reusable template for all pages? This is where Jinja2's template inheritance comes in. We'll create a base.html file that contains the common structure of our pages. Here, the block title tag allows child templates to define their own title, while this is where each page's unique content will go. The navigation bar makes it easy to navigate between pages. Now that we have a base template, let's modify our pages to inherit from it. Let's save our files and refresh our browser. Next, we'll build a fully functional and responsive to-do list app using everything we've learned so far: Flask, Jinja2, templates, routing, and more. Following our structured approach, our to-do list app will allow users to add tasks, mark tasks as completed, delete tasks, store tasks temporarily in memory, We will use Bootstrap for styling so our app looks beautiful on any device. This will be our project structure. Let's import Flask and other tools. We'll create tags list to store tags. For now, just in memory. The /route loads index.html and passes the tags list to it. The app runs in debug mode. Here our app will be running in debug mode. To avoid repeating HTML, we will use template inheritance. Inside our templates folder, let's create the base.html file. Here we'll be using the Bootstrap for styling. Then we'll define the base structure with block title and block content. Then the links to CSS styles and Bootstrap. Now let's build our main page where users can add and view tags. Inside your templates folder, create an index.html file and enter the following codes. Here we're creating a form to add tags, then list of tags using the for loop. I will add a delete button for each tag. Next, let's update our app.py file to handle adding and deleting tags. Finally, let's make our app look great. Inside the static folder, add the styles.css file and enter the following style. Save your file and let's refresh our browser. There you have it. You can now add and delete tags dynamically. Build a functional to-do list app from scratch. You've applied Flask, Jinja2, and Bootstrap beautifully, and you've structured your project efficiently using template inheritance. And that wraps up our tutorial on Flask templates with Jinja2. We've covered a lot, from basic syntax to template inheritance. See you in our next video.